I was halfway through a shrimp cocktail when my mom leaned in, lowered her voice, and said, "Camilla, Jamie just got promoted. He's regional manager now. You should talk to him." I blinked up at her, fork frozen midair. "Is that right?" "He's still single," she added with a smile so tight it could cut glass. There it was. The real point. Not the shrimp, not the celebration, not even Mark's graduation. Just another attempt to auction me off like a clearance item with a good return policy. "My name's Camila, and I'm the family disappointment." I glanced across the table. Mark was holding court at the head, perfectly tailored suit, champagne in hand, laughing like he just won an Oscar for Best Son. Which, in this house, he basically had. Dad nodded along like a bobblehead, while Mark regaled our extended relatives with some story about a moot court victory. I'd heard it 3 times already. He added a joke this time. Everyone laughed. I took a sip of water. "Camila," my mom said again, nudging me with her elbow. "Jamie's right there. Go say hi." Jamie gave me a polite nod from across the room, clearly aware of the matchmaking ambush. I gave him a tight smile and turned back to my plate. "I'm good, thanks." Mom sighed like I'd just kicked a puppy. "You can't keep hiding behind your computer forever." "I'm not hiding. I'm working." "On what? That little game thing?" I stabbed a piece of lettuce. "Yeah, that little game thing." She waved her hand dismissively. "You're too smart to waste time on fantasy worlds. You should be meeting people. Real people." I bit back the urge to say something cruel. Instead, I stood up. "I'm gonna head out. Big update tonight." "Camila, don't be rude," she hissed. "Dessert's coming." "I'll live." I slipped out before she could guilt me into staying. The air outside was cooler, the sky a soft orange. I walked to my car, unlocked it, and slid into the driver's seat. My fingers itched. Not from stress, from anticipation. Back at my apartment, I kicked off my shoes, tossed my bag on the couch, and powered up my rig. 3 monitors flickered to life, bathing the dark room in soft blue light. I settled into my chair and cracked my knuckles. Myriad was waiting. I pulled up the dashboard. The server patch I'd pushed last night had stabilized. Good. I opened the analytics page. Then I froze. Downloads, 512,763. My heart did a weird flutter. I blinked again, refreshed the page. Still climbing. I leaned back, staring at the screen. I hadn't promoted it. No ads, no influencers. Just word of mouth, and a Reddit thread I'd posted anonymously 2 weeks ago. I clicked into the player forums. Hundreds of new posts. Fan art. Strategy threads. Bug reports. My phone buzzed. I glanced at it. A Discord ping from Freya. Freya. "Girl, your patch? Fire. The new dungeon is insane." Camilla. "You're online?" Freya. "Duh. We're trending on Twitch. You seen this?" I flipped over to Twitch. Sure enough, 2 mid-tier streamers were playing Myriad live. One of them had 15K viewers. Holy shit. I grinned. Just a little. Then I got to work. There was a memory leak in the inventory system I needed to patch, and the new boss animation still bugged out on older phones. I was halfway through debugging when I heard my phone buzz again. Voicemail. I checked the caller ID. Mom. I sighed. Hit play. "Camilla, honey, I just think you should try harder to be part of the family. Your brother's done so well, and we're just worried about you. You can't live in your little bubble forever. Anyway, Jamie said you barely looked at him. He's a good man. Call me back." I deleted the message. A second one came in right after. Dad this time. "Hey, sweetheart. Just wanted to say we missed you at dessert. Your mom's just, you know how she is. Anyway, Mark's firm sent over a bottle of champagne. Big things happening. We're proud of him. Hope you're doing okay. Love you. Hope you're doing okay." I stared at the waveform of the message. No mention of my work, no questions about what I was building. Just a vague pat on the head and a reminder that Mark was the star. I closed my phone and turned back to the screen. Myriad's world map glowed. Thousands of players moving through the zones I'd designed pixel by pixel. I zoomed in on one, an elf archer named Snail Queen, soloing a raid boss. Her health dropped to 2% before she landed the final hit. The chat exploded in cheers. I smiled. Not bad for a little game thing. I opened a new tab and checked the back-end servers. Stable. CPU usage at 43%. I'd built this infrastructure from scratch, optimized every line of code, designed every character, every quest, every mechanic. Alone. No trust fund. No connections. No fake smiles. Just me. I leaned back and let the hum of the fans fill the room. I thought about what my mom said, about being someone else's responsibility. They really thought that's where I was headed. I clicked back into the dashboard. The player count had jumped again, 522, 109. I opened a spreadsheet, started tracking the growth curve. If it held, I'd hit 1 million by the end of the month. Maybe sooner. And they had no idea. Not yet. But they would. The knock came at 10:17 a.m., just as I was finishing my second coffee and fixing a broken loot drop table. I opened the door to find Mark standing there, still in his lawyer cosplay. Pressed slacks, designer belt, that smug practice smile. "Morning, sis," he said, holding up a bag from our old favorite bagel place. "Peace offering?" I stepped aside. "Depends. Are you here to talk or to lecture?" "Little of both," he said, walking in like he owned the place. He looked around. "Still the same setup, huh?" "Still the same sister," I said, shutting the door behind him. He sat at the kitchen counter, pulling out 2 bagels. "You need to eat more. You look tired." "I sleep great," I said, grabbing the one with sesame seeds. "What's this really about?" Mark took a bite, chewed slowly, like he was buying time. "Mom's worried. Shocking. She thinks you're isolating, that you're spiraling." I snorted. "Because I didn't flirt with Jamie over cheesecake?" "She's not the only one concerned," he said, wiping his mouth. "Maeve's been asking about you, too." I froze mid-bite. "Maeve?" "Yeah. She said she reached out, but you didn't respond. She ghosted me 3 years ago." "She said you pushed her away." I stared at him. "She said that?" He shrugged, like it didn't matter. "Anyway, we've been talking. She thinks you need a little reality check." I leaned on the counter. "You're dating her." He blinked. "What?" "You're dating Maeve." He hesitated, then smiled like I'd caught him doing something adorable. "It just kind of happened. We reconnected at a fundraiser. She's doing really well, working for that nonprofit downtown." I backed away from the counter. "So let me get this straight. You're dating my ex-best friend, who ghosted me, and now you're both staging some kind of intervention?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" He stood up, palms out. "Cam, we care about you. You're smart, but you're wasting your time on this game stuff." I laughed. "I couldn't help it. You have no idea what I'm doing." "Okay, then tell me. What's your endgame here? Living off ramen and Reddit karma?" I walked over to my desk, tapped the spacebar. The monitors lit up, showing Myriad's dashboard. Player count, 612,000. Mark squinted. "Is that real?" "Every number." He walked closer, reading the screen. "Is this a game?" "It's a world," I said. "One I built." He shook his head. "You should be doing something real, with your degree. You're too talented to be stuck in fantasy land." I turned to face him. "You know what's funny? You've never asked me what I do. Not once. You just assumed it was a phase." "I'm trying to help." "No, you're trying to manage me. Like Mom does." He looked frustrated now. "You're being defensive. And you're being condescending." He grabbed his bag. "Look, just come to brunch this weekend. Everyone's going to be there. We can talk more then. As a family. Sure. Why not? Sounds like a blast. He paused at the door. Maeve said she's sorry. She wants to make things right. I didn't answer. After he left, I stood there for a long time, staring at the door. My phone buzzed. Freya again. Freya. We just hit number 3 on the App Store. You seeing this? I opened the rankings. There it was. Myriad, climbing fast. My inbox had exploded overnight. Dozens of DMs, a few emails from streamers, and one message that made my stomach flip. Subject: Vision Spark Ventures, Inquiry. I clicked it open. Hi, Camilla. I came across Myriad through a colleague and was extremely impressed. I'd love to chat about your vision for the game and potential partnership opportunities. Best, Jerome Hayes, CEO, Vision Spark Ventures. I reread it 3 times. Freya pinged again. Freya, you okay? Camila. I think something big is about to happen. Freya. Bigger than number 3? Camila. Way bigger. I stared at the email, heart pounding. Mark and Maeve wanted to stage an intervention. They had no idea what I was building, and I wasn't about to explain it to them. Let them talk. Let them plan. I had my own plans now. Maeve showed up on a Wednesday. No warning, no text. Just a knock. Then her standing there like we'd spoken yesterday instead of 3 years ago. Hey, she said, smiling like nothing had happened. Can I come in? I hesitated. She looked the same. Same soft curls, same oversized sweater, same eyes that used to light up when we talked about building something big together. But those eyes had gone dark the day she stopped replying to my messages. I stepped aside. Sure. She walked in slowly, glancing around like she was trying to remember the place. You haven't changed much. I upgraded the graphics card. She laughed, a little too hard. Still funny. I closed the door. What brings you here? I wanted to talk. I know things got weird. Weird, I repeated. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded in her lap. I should have reached out sooner. Life got busy. I started that job, then the pandemic hit, and I didn't know how to fix things. You ghosted me. I know. Her voice was soft now. I was overwhelmed, and I didn't think you needed me anymore. I didn't respond. She glanced at the monitors. Is that the game? Myriad? I nodded. I've been hearing about it. People at work are obsessed. I had no idea it was yours. I sat at my desk, pulling up the console. Yeah, well, it is. Can I see it? I paused. Why? I'm curious. I mean, we used to talk about building games together, remember? I looked at her. You remember that now? She winced. I deserve that. I stared at the code on my screen, then sighed. Fine. 1 demo. No screenshots. No sharing. Of course, she said quickly, standing and walking over. I loaded a test server. The screen filled with the starting village. Sunlight filtering through pixelated trees, NPCs milling around, a bard playing a lute near the fountain. Maeve's mouth dropped open. This is gorgeous. Thanks. She clicked around, exploring. You did all this? Every line of code, every asset. She looked at me. Cam, this is amazing. Like seriously, you could sell this. I didn't answer. She played for another few minutes, then stood. I'm really proud of you. I raised an eyebrow. You don't get to say that. She looked hurt. I'm trying. I shut the server down. Trying would have been showing up before now, not dating my brother behind my back. Her eyes widened. He told you? Yeah, he told me. She stepped back. It wasn't planned. We reconnected and... Save it. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I wanted to see you, that's all. I didn't say anything. She left a few minutes later, After another awkward hug, I didn't return. That night, I was running a patch when I got the alert. Unauthorized promotional assets uploaded to a third-party site. Screenshots, concept art, even part of the source code watermark. I froze. The files weren't from the public build. They were from the demo server, the one I'd shown Maeve. I locked everything down, updated my firewall, changed every password, killed all sharing permissions. Then I sat there, staring at the screen, heart pounding. She'd played me. Again. The next morning I got a call from Jerome's assistant. Calm, professional. Hi, Camilla. We just wanted to confirm that the promotional materials circulating online weren't officially released by you. No, I said. They weren't. Understood. Jerome would still love to meet. He's impressed. But we'll need to tighten the NDA process moving forward. Absolutely. I hung up and stared at the wall. Maeve had tried to tank my deal. I opened Discord. Camilla. You there? Freya. Always. What's up? Camilla. Someone leaked my stuff. Freya. What? Who? Camilla. Maeve. Freya. Say the word. I'll nuke her online. Camilla. Not yet. I've got a better idea. I spent the next hour rewriting my security protocols, encrypting everything, and creating a decoy build for any future friends who wanted to look. Then I opened a new folder, Plan B, because if Maeve wanted to play dirty, I was ready to go nuclear. And this time, I wasn't going to warn anyone. Jerome Hayes didn't look like a tech CEO. No hoodie, no sneakers, no man bun. He wore a navy blazer, a real smile, and the kind of calm that made you feel like you weren't about to throw up in the middle of a pitch meeting. He extended his hand as I walked into the Vision Spark conference room. Camilla, it's great to finally meet you. I shook it, trying not to let my nerves show. Thanks for having me. The room was sleek. Glass walls, minimalist furniture, a massive screen on the far wall. No clutter, no chaos, just clean lines and quiet power. Jerome gestured to the seat across from him. We're excited to see what you've built. I sat, opened my laptop, and took a breath. Okay, so this is Myriad. I launched the demo build. The screen filled with the opening cinematic, a hand-drawn animation Freya had illustrated, synced to the original score I'd composed at 2 a.m. 6 months ago. The hero stepped into the world, sword on her back, wind in her hair. Jerome leaned forward. This is beautiful. Thanks. It's a multiplayer fantasy RPG. Mobile first. Real-time combat. Player-driven economy. Every major system is modular. He nodded slowly. And you did all this yourself? Every line of code. Freya helped with the art, but the engine, the servers, the game design, it's all me. He looked impressed. How long have you been working on it? 3 years. Nights, weekends. I had a day job until 6 months ago. He smiled. And now? I'm all in. He chuckled. That's what I like to hear. I ran through the features. Crafting, guild systems, lore trees, a branching quest line that adapted to player behavior. He asked smart questions. Not the kind that tested me, but the kind that showed he actually cared about the answers. When I finished, he sat back, thoughtful. Camilla, he said, this is one of the most impressive solo builds I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot. I exhaled, just a little. Thank you. We want to acquire it. I blinked. You do? Yes. We'd like to buy the IP, bring you on as lead developer, and give you full creative control. You'd keep the vision. We'd handle scale, marketing, support. My heart was pounding. What does that look like? Financially? He smiled. We'll send over the official paperwork, but we're talking a full acquisition. 9 figures. I stared at him. 9? 200 million, he said casually, as if he'd just offered to split a sandwich. I didn't speak. Couldn't. He leaned forward. You've built something extraordinary. We want to help you take it global. I nodded slowly. Okay. Yeah, I'm in. He stood and extended his hand again. Then welcome to Vision Spark. I shook it, my fingers slightly trembling. As I packed up, he added, I know you've had some interference recently. We traced the leak. You handled it well. I looked up sharply. He gave a small smile. We have good eyes. I didn't ask how. Didn't need to. Back in the elevator, I stared at my reflection in the polished metal walls. Same hoodie, same jeans, same girl. But everything had changed. When I got home, Freya was already on video chat. Well? She asked, eyes wide. I grinned. 200 million. She screamed, like full-on shrieked. Are you serious? I nodded. They want to go global. I stay in charge. It's happening. She clapped her hands. Camilla, that's insane. That's life-changing. I know. We sat there, both stunned. Then Freya leaned in. So, what now? I looked at the folder on my desktop labeled Plan B. Now, I said, I get the last word. I should have known something was off when I pulled up to my parents' house and saw Jamie's car in the driveway. Sunday brunch, they said. Just family, they said. I walked in and immediately knew I'd been set up. Mark was on the couch, legs crossed like a smug therapist. Maeve sat beside him, pretending to be casual. Jamie stood awkwardly near the fireplace, holding a mimosa. My mom hovered by the dining table, eyes bright with fake warmth. Dad was already seated, sipping coffee like he wasn't part of the ambush. Camilla, sweetheart, Mom said, her voice sugar-coated. So glad you could make it. I didn't take off my coat. What's going on? We just wanted to have a little talk, she said, gesturing toward the dining room. Sit, eat, let's chat. I walked over slowly, eyes scanning the table. Eggs, fruit, croissants, a bottle of Prosecco. It looked like a Pinterest brunch. It felt like a courtroom. I sat. No one else moved. Mark cleared his throat. We're all here because we care about you. Is this an intervention? I asked flatly. No, Mom said too quickly. It's a conversation. Maeve leaned forward. Cam, we're worried. You've been so isolated lately. You ghosted me for 3 years, I said, not looking at her. She blinked. That's not what this is about. It's exactly what this is about. Mark jumped in. Cam, listen. We just want you to consider some options. You're smart. You could be doing so much more with your life. Like what? Well, Mom said, clasping her hands. Your Aunt Denise has a guest house. It's quiet, peaceful. You could stay there for a while. Get some clarity. I stared at her. You want me to move in with Aunt Denise? It's just a suggestion, she said brightly. And Jamie, Mark added, has a friend who runs a career coaching program. They help people transition into more stable roles. Jamie smiled weakly. It's a great program. I turned to my dad. You're okay with this? He shrugged. They just want what's best for you. I looked around the table. So let me get this straight. You all got together, decided I'm some kind of lost cause, and planned a group ambush to save me? No one said you're a lost cause, Mom said. We just think you need direction. I let the silence stretch. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out the envelope. Thick, cream-colored paper. Vision Sparks letterhead. I slid it across the table. What's this? Mark asked. Read it. He opened it, eyes scanning the page, his brow furrowed. Then his mouth opened slightly. Mom leaned over. What is it? Mark handed it to her. She read it once, then again, slower. Dad took it next. His hands trembled just a little. Maeve looked between them. What is it? I spoke clearly. It's a formal acquisition offer. For my game. $200 million. I stay on as lead developer. Full creative control. The room went silent. Mark laughed, but it cracked halfway through. This is a joke, right? I pulled out my phone, tapped Jerome's contact, and hit speaker. He answered on the second ring. Camilla, everything okay? Hey, Jerome, just wanted to confirm what was the final number on the offer. 200 million, up front, plus bonuses based on growth. We're thrilled to be working with you. Thanks, I said, then hung up. Mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish. You built this game? I've been building it for 3 years. Dad blinked. You never said anything. You never asked. Mark stood up. That's insane. You can't just... What are you even going to do with that kind of money? Not move in with Aunt Denise. Maeve looked pale. Cam, I didn't know... I cut her off. You knew enough to try and leak my work. Her face flushed. That wasn't me. I traced the IP. She looked at Mark, panicked. He looked away. Mom finally found her voice. Camilla, this is huge. We're so proud of you. I smiled coldly. No, you're not. You're shocked. There's a difference. Mark stepped closer. You don't know how to handle this. You're being emotional. Before I could respond, someone else did. Alexandra. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, holding a USB drive. Actually, she said, I think Camilla's the only one here thinking clearly. Everyone turned. Mark's face drained of color. What are you doing here? I came for brunch, she said, walking over to me. But I think I just got dessert. She handed me the USB. You might want this. Ask Mark about the bar exams again. Then she turned and walked out. I looked at Mark. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. I stood, picked up the envelope, and slid it back into my bag. Thanks for brunch, I said. Next time, try pancakes. And I walked out, coat still on, heart pounding, already planning my next move. The silence in that dining room was the kind that made your ears ring. Mark was still standing, frozen like someone had unplugged him. Maeve stared at her lap. Jamie looked like he wanted to vanish into the fruit tray. Mom was blinking rapidly, processing, recalculating, rebranding. I sat back down. So, I said, pulling out my phone again, any more suggestions about my future? Mom recovered first. Camila, honey, we didn't know. If you'd just told us, you wouldn't have believed me, I said, scrolling through my contacts. But don't worry. I brought receipts. I tapped Jerome's name and hit speaker again. He answered instantly. Camilla, everything all right? Still good. Just wanted my family to hear from you directly. You mind? Not at all, he said, voice smooth and warm. Hello, Dunn family. I'm Jerome Hayes, CEO of Vision Spark Ventures. We're thrilled to be acquiring Camilla's game. She's a rare talent, and we're lucky to be working with her. Mom made a small choking noise. Jerome continued, I've seen a lot of pitches. Very few solo developers can do what she's done. She's got vision, discipline, and grit. You should be proud. I looked at my parents. Dad's eyes were glassy. Mom had gone pale. Thanks, Jerome, I said. That's all I needed. Call me later, he said. We'll finalize the press release. I hung up. Mark finally spoke. You're being reckless. You don't know what you're doing with that kind of money. I tilted my head. You mean the kind of money you were hoping to inherit? He stepped forward. That's not fair. No, I said, standing. What's not fair is spending my entire life being treated like a burden while you got tutors, vacations, and applause for breathing. What's not fair is being told to smile while you and Maeve played house behind my back. Maeve looked like she wanted to disappear. Mark's jaw tightened. You're acting like a child. Alexandra's voice echoed in my head. Ask Mark about the bar exams again. I reached into my bag and pulled out the USB she gave me. What's this? I asked, holding it up. Mark's face went blank. I don't know. Really? Because Alexandra said I should ask you about the bar exams. Mom turned sharply. What is she talking about? Mark swallowed. She's just trying to stir up drama. I walked to the living room, plugged the USB into their TV, and pulled up the folder. Emails, screenshots, a PDF titled Bar Exam Answers, July Session. I opened one. Dad stood up. What is this? Emails between Mark and someone who leaked the bar exam answers, I said. Also, arrest records. He was in a bar fight 2 weeks before the exam. You paid someone to make it disappear. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Mark lunged forward. You had no right. I had every right, I snapped. You don't get to play golden boy and cheat your way through life while calling me immature. Jamie stood up. I think I should go. Good idea, I said, without looking at him. Maeve stood too. Cam, I didn't know. Stop, I said. You leaked my work. You tried to tank my deal. You don't get to apologize now that it didn't work. She opened her mouth, then closed it. She grabbed her purse and left without another word. Mark looked at our parents. You're really going to believe her over me? Dad sat down slowly. Mark, is it true? Mark didn't answer. Mom looked like she was about to faint. I pulled the USB out of the TV and dropped it into my bag. I'm done here, I said, heading for the door. Camilla, Mom called after me. Wait. I turned. She looked desperate. What are we supposed to do now? I smiled just a little. Figure it out. Then I left. Outside, the air was crisp, clean. Every breath felt like the first one after surfacing from deep water. My phone buzzed. Alexandra. Did it land? Camilla. Like a bomb. Alexandra. Good. He deserved it. Camilla. You okay? Alexandra. Better than ever. Thanks for finishing what I couldn't. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away without looking back. At a red light, I opened my email. Jerome had already sent over the press release draft. My name in bold. Vision Spark acquires Myriad in $200 deal. I hit reply. Camila. Looks perfect. Let's go live. I smiled as the light turned green. Let them watch. The email went out at 9:03 a.m. From a burner account. No name, no trace. Just a subject line. Bar exam leak. Proof attached. Inside was everything. The screenshots. The email chain. The PDF of the stolen questions. The arrest record. A short note. This is not the first time he's cheated. It's just the first time someone said something. I sent it to the licensing board, his law firm, and a few choice reporters. By 10:15, it was trending on legal Twitter. By noon, the firm had deleted his bio from their website. At 1:22 p.m., Alexandra texted me a screenshot of the official statement. Due to recent revelations, we are withdrawing our offer of employment to Mark effective immediately. We take integrity seriously. At 2:05, my mom called. I didn't answer. At 2:06, she called again. I put my phone on silent. Freya messaged me. Freya. You see the news? Camilla. Every glorious second. Freya. You okay? Camilla. Better than okay. I was in my new office. A shared space Vision Spark had set me up with downtown. Not huge, but clean and mine. Myriad's logo was now on the door. The real one. Not the placeholder I used to draw on sticky notes. The press release had gone live that morning. My inbox was a war zone. Investors, reporters, recruiters, even a few old classmates suddenly remembering we used to be close. I was sipping coffee when the knock came. Maeve. I stared at her through the glass wall before opening the door. She looked tired. No makeup. Hoodie. Hands shoved in her pockets. Cam, she said softly. Can we talk? I stepped aside. She walked in, looking around. This is nice. What do you want? She turned to face me. I messed up. Which part? All of it. She sat down, uninvited. I didn't mean to leak your work. I swear, I was jealous. You were doing what we used to dream about, and I was stuck in this job I hate, dating a guy who turned out to be a liar. I leaned against the desk. You still leaked it. I thought maybe if I got it out there first, someone would notice me too. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry, she said. I really am. I looked at her. You didn't just betray me. You tried to sabotage me. I know. And you didn't come clean until it all blew up. She looked down. I don't expect you to forgive me. Good, I said, because I don't. She stood. I just wanted to say it. That's all. She walked to the door, then turned back. You're amazing, Cam. You always were. I just couldn't handle it. Then she left. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel anything. That chapter was over. Later that night, I sat in my apartment, laptop open, watching the live stream. TechCon 2024. Jerome was on stage, introducing new acquisitions. Myriad was the closer. And now, he said, I'd like to bring up one of the most exciting creators we've worked with this year. The mind behind Myriad. Please welcome Camila. I walked out to applause. The lights were hot. The stage was massive. But I wasn't nervous. I took the mic. Hi, I'm Camila. I built a game in my apartment that hit 1 million downloads without a single ad. People told me it was a waste of time, that I should get a real job, that I was being childish. But I kept building. I paused, and now I'm building something bigger. The screen behind me lit up with the teaser for my next project. Freya's art, my code, our world. The applause came again, louder this time. I stepped back, heart steady. This time, they saw me. The call came just after noon. I was unpacking the last of my boxes in the new loft. Sunlight pouring through the tall windows. Myriad's logo framed on the wall behind my desk like a trophy. I let the phone ring twice before answering. Camilla, my mom said, her voice tight but trying to sound warm. I saw the TechCon video. You looked very professional. Thanks. There was a pause. We were wondering if you could come by sometime. Your father's been quiet lately. He misses you. I sat on the edge of the couch. Does he? He's just confused. This has all been a lot. For who? I asked. She ignored that. And Mark. Well, he's going through a tough time. Maybe you could help. You have resources now. I laughed, short and sharp. You're calling to ask if I'll bail him out? No, not bail out, she said quickly. Just help the family. We're still your family, Camila. I stood and walked to the window, looking down at the street below. People moved like pixels, tiny, fast, full of purpose. I already helped the family, I said. Once. That was enough. She was silent. I have to go, I added. I've got a meeting. Camilla. I hung up. I stood there for a second, letting the quiet settle. Then I turned, grabbed the last box from the floor, and opened it. Inside was the old sketchbook, the one I used to hide under my bed. Pages of dragons, castles, maps scrawled in pencil. Freya had seen it once and said, "You've had this world in you forever." There was a knock at the door. I opened it. Freya stood there, holding a bottle of wine and a bag of takeout. Hope you're not too rich for dumplings. Never. She stepped inside, looking around. Damn, this place is beautiful. I grinned. It doesn't smell like mold. That's already an upgrade. We sat on the floor, boxes still half unpacked, eating straight from the containers. You good? She asked between bites. I think so. She nodded. You did it, you know. All of it. I looked at her. I didn't do it alone. She smiled. Still, that was some queen-level revenge. I didn't even raise my voice. Exactly. We clinked our chopsticks like glasses. Later, after she left, I sat at my desk and logged into Myriad. My avatar spawned in the capital city, sunset casting long shadows over the marble steps. Players bustled around the square. A bard played a tune I'd coded in from a MIDI file I found on an old hard drive. I opened the admin panel. Everything was stable, growing. I moved my avatar to a quiet hilltop just outside the city, where the sky turned violet and stars blinked in early. From here, you could see the whole world. I sat her down, let her rest. And I did too, because sometimes revenge isn't fire. It's ice, cold, clear, and final.